the deck of many things was supposed to come out like any day now. I
No.
think it's supposed to come out this week. It's $100. It comes with, it's actually in a sealed container where you have to like pull a tab open it, and out comes the book and out comes the deck. And at the last second, they said they're not going to sell the deck, $100 deck with the book, because of production issues. And people were writing me saying, is this a lie? Are they just trying to milk their digital product? Because they did say, well, if you order it, you still get the digital product right away. And you can still use all the new book. You can use everything, but it's only digital. And a lot of people were like, it's a conspiracy. But what actually happened, and there's a lot of videos, they sent out the book to reviewers, and the early reviews were the deck, very beautiful, except for a couple of small problems. First, the cards are warped and bent. Second, a lot of them are damaged. And oh, by the way, they're 3 different sizes. So some were bigger than others. They were cut 3 different ways. So if you looked at the deck on the side, it was like all over the place. What I can't believe is multiple things. One, how did it get to that point? That, like, who is getting fired for obviously not doing quality control? Because how is it that the deck had all those production issues? Second, can you imagine the PR nightmare if they were selling $100 deck of many things that had that many errors and production issues? They would have been raked over the coals. And third, they're not going to get it out. They're like, we're not going to make it out till Christmas. I'm like, dude, I don't think you're going to make it out till summer. They have to reprint the entire thing, repackage it, redo it's actually sealed. It's actually sealed inside like a you know, it was like a FedEx pack, you know, it's like one of those. Yeah. So they got to redo everything. Now the books themselves, I think, are fine. It's just the deck. But I'm like, that is a huge, it's going to cost millions to fix that. And then they lost the Christmas sales. So is it impressive that they managed to finally grow up and take the hit, and they decided that they really can't release a subpar product yet again and have another huge PR nightmare? Or is it just a sign of things that are going on there that should have never happened in the first place, ever? How did that even occur? How did they release a product in stores? I guarantee it's been sitting on shelves waiting for them to put it out. And they notice it, like literally a week before it's supposed to come out, that, oh, yeah, none of these are printed right. I just sprung this on you, so what are your thoughts?
It's the biggest disaster since TSR's Fantasy Forest.
Which one was
that was or the D&D kid game, the Fantasy Forest game,
right,
where they printed it and the board was too big for the box. And there was like hundreds of thousands of them that they couldn't. It's the biggest disaster since that. It is. How does a company that prints magic cards, that's their whole thing.
Yes.
How do they screw up? What are there, 60 cards in the deck?
It's like 100 or something, yeah.
And this is, and I know they expanded. They added 20 cards.
Yeah.
I remember I wrote for Dungeon Magazine, and that was the first time that they thought to give a deck. They put it in the magazine. You cut out the deck.
I remember that.
Dungeon Magazine could handle this in 1996 or whatever, and they can't do this in 20. The company that makes Magic can't print a card.
Mm-hmm.
Someone's got to get fired.
The headlines wrote themselves. You could see why they're calling it back, because they would have gotten destroyed in the press.
No, I haven't seen the book. I did see a couple reviews, and from like mainstream sites, and they're very underwhelming.
Well, that was actually it, because that was, if you see them, they were strangely, people like the book and they like the concept. Now, I think also a lot of people aren't familiar with the deck of many things, so to them it might have been something newer. And the concept is very cool. I mean, it's stood the test of time. It's been around since first edition, and I freaking love the deck of many things.
Yeah.
So I think they skated a little bit on reputation, but yeah, there's a lot of videos where they show the cards and they're like, yeah, look, they don't lie flat. And you try to lie them flat, they're warped like this. And that's because they have they're very nicely printed. But the thing is like, I print out books. I get samples. I do in China. I get samples. I get everything is sent. I get all the sheets are sent. I get everything. I get the book sent to me basically before it's put together, and I have to finally approve it before they actually print it. And then they send me sample books, and I have to approve that before they bind them. So I get multiple steps of where I'm seeing final product. And someone has to get fired because I'm like, did someone not see this? I mean, it's like it's like maybe the size, but the cards are warped. It's like, oh, it's okay. The card is like this. That's fine. I mean, it's like, whose job was this? I mean, that's mind-boggling that they got that far. I guess it wasn't the same company who prints their Magic cards who did this deck.
Maybe they did it in house.
It is possible. It is possible. Well, I don't know if they still have a printer. They used to have a printer. They used to print all their board games themselves. They used to do everything themselves. I have no idea. Actually, I know. They do still have an American print, because if you see, it does say printed in the United States. But they started to move to China. I know they started in Canada. I believe they moved to those two places.